But I really don't have any regrets. I really don't. I've lived exactly how I've wanted to. I've tried my hardest every single time. I didn't win the matches that maybe I should have always won, but I really gave it my all. So that for me is enough.
Hi everyone, welcome to The Body Serve. I'm James.
I'm Jonathan.
And we are currently in a car because we're doing some non-tennis related travel for the holiday weekend in Canada. We're on the way to none of your business. No, we're going to Upstate New York to visit my family. But Jonathan's driving.
Yeah, I am. Also, like, the reason why we're having to do it this way, because it was a last minute trip. And we didn't really realize that it would mean that the day we were traveling was the day that we had to record the Wimbledon preview episode. There's not a whole lot of leeway when that's concerned.
So the draws came out today. The tournament starts on Monday. Wimbledon is very considerate because they finish their qualifying like way in advance, right? So all the qualifiers are in the draw. So I'm going to be kind of driving the first part of this episode because I can actually read the agenda here. And
I'm driving the car, you're driving the entire episode. So if the audio quality of this episode is not up to scratch, forgive us. It's not a regular thing. We're not going to make a habit of it. Also, Vince says hi from the back seat.
Mm-hmm. He's poor thing is so miserable in the car. He's just trying to sleep and we're talking. Okay, so I think we should get this out of the way. The seeding drama, which is really a drama that has no reason for existing. The seeding formula on the men's side of Wimbledon has existed for a long time. We know it's very transparent. We know what the formula is. We know how points are assigned between last year and this year, grass results, rankings, all that. So we're not going to go through that again.
Which is why folks were saying that Roger is a number 2 seed at Wimbledon, even after the French Open, during the French Open.
Right.
Because that stuff could have been calculated ahead of time. If your gripe is, why is it done this way? Then perhaps that's something to talk about, but it's not new.
Right. So the issue is that Roger Federer was bumped up to the 2 seed. Rafa is number 3, although he's ranked number 2 in the world. It's, Roger just won the Roger Federer Open in Halle for the 10th time. I believe that's called Der Zehnte in German. And that's why, so play a warm-up, win a title. If you want to be the 2 seed, right? Rafa knew this was a possibility. I don't know if was he upset about it or just everyone else on his behalf.
I recall him saying there was something that he said about it, like, and then Novak was asked about it, and he's like, yeah, it's weird. And then folks were saying, well, was it weird for you last year when you benefited from it? And then folks are like, why are we only talking about Rafa?
Right.
Dominic Thiem is the one who's most inconvenienced here, with Kevin Anderson being bumped up from number 7 to number 4, and Dominic is now number 5 instead of the 4 seed.
Yeah. I think, we can have a debate on whether or not to use a formula at all, like what the purpose of seeding even is. Is it to make it easier for the top seeds? Is it to reflect the rankings exactly? Is it to reflect like the past year performance, or adjust players' performances on this particular surface?
The actual history of the special calculation is somewhat interesting to me, because it stems from, I'm told, and Darren Cahill talked about this on Twitter, that it stems from a time in the past when there was a lot more differentiation between the surfaces.
Right.
And so you had the clay court specialist and you had the grass specialist, and this formula was intended to, give people a leg up.
To reward good performance on this surface.
And previously, apparently, that this formula came into place in 2002 or 2003, and before then it was just a discretionary thing up to Wimbledon how they wanted to do it.
Yeah, so on the women's side, as you may know, the seeding committee does have the right to change seeds if they so choose. They don't do it that often. They did it for Serena last year, but this year it's gone according to the rankings. If there's something really out there, they might play with the seeds a little bit, but it was reported that actually the WTA doesn't like it. So that's one of the
Doesn't
big
like
reasons.
what?
They don't like Wimbledon playing with the seeds. So
When you say WTA, do you mean the players?
I think the
the
organization, Ben Rothenberg reported this on Twitter the other day, that one of the main reasons that Wimbledon doesn't use a seeding formula for the women is that the organization, the WTA, isn't really a fan.
Which makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, this is obvious sexism,"
I'm like,
and
but I don't get that, because like it penalizes male players amongst themselves. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know. It seems completely separate to me. I mean, a lot of things are sexism. I just I'm having trouble following on this particular.
it's not so much a Wimbledon thing as it is a tour thing.
Right. So there's that. I mean, people are going to get even more bitter now that they've seen Rafa's draw, which is rather difficult. His French Open draw was known to be really easy early on. This one is quite a bit different. You know, you could see Nick Kyrgios in the second round. He's on the same half of the draw as Roger Federer, which could have happened if he was the 2 seed. You know, that it didn't prevent that. But it did open the possibility that Rafa could play Novak in the semis again, which is not going to happen. But it's not an easy draw. Fed Cup. Totally not having to do with Wimbledon, but Fed Cup and the ITF just announced their
That was
reboot.
quite the change of
Yeah, there
pace
was.
you just did.
Sorry, there was no
That
transition.
was pretty poor.
That's fine. The ITF, as expected, rebooted Fed Cup. It's not exactly the same as Davis Cup, but it's really similar. It's not with Cosmos. They're on their own, but they've increased prize money a lot. They are now doing this thing where the finals are in April in one city. Budapest, Hungary is going to host it for the first 3 years, and it's going to be on clay. And how it's going to work is that they're going to have these home and away ties in February, like they normally do. 16 teams are going to play in that sort of world group, those home and away ties, for 8 spots.
And when is that?
That's in February.
Okay.
And then, in April, the last year's winner and runner-up have a guaranteed spot, so they will not play those ties in February. The host nation has a guaranteed spot, and
So,
can you
so
imagine?
Hungary just gets a guaranteed spot 3 years in a row?
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And a wild card team. So there's 12 altogether in those finals. Billie Jean King is the one sort of promoting this. I'm not exactly sure what her involvement is, but she seems rather invested in the prospect. We've heard from some players who are upset about it. Alize Cornet is disgusted. And I think
Did
that'd be
she
interesting.
said it was ruined?
Yes.
Congrats, you ruined Fed Cup.
I'm going to be really interested to see if the players who have spoken up about the Davis Cup and Fed Cup changes actually do sit out.
I don't know. I think at this point the changes have come. We just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it doesn't linger over the season the way the Davis Cup does. At least you get it over with in those kind of, I don't want to say down stretches.
But
But I'm curious now to see what that will do for Charleston. Because if it's in the middle of April,
oh god,
that is
okay.
and it's clearly meant to be a big warm-up for the French Open, right?
Well,
If it's
right.
played on clay and it's in the middle of April, and you have all these teams where you say 12 teams playing in this final
Yeah.
during that 1 week, then who's going to fly across to Budapest and then come back to Charleston or vice versa?
Right. So we shall see. Now we're back to Wimbledon stuff. Is that a good transition? So, Mahut and Herbert will not be playing doubles together at Wimbledon. You may have heard. Herbert will actually be playing with Sir Andrew Barron Murray.
Yes. At first, I thought it was very strange because Murray was like, yeah, I'm coming back at the Fever Tree, Lindstrom, Quaker Oaks, Barrel Open, and I'm going to play doubles there. But my main big comeback is going to be at Wimbledon, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be in singles. It's going to be in doubles. And I'm telling you now that my partner is going to be Mr. Pierre-Hugues Herbert. And everybody knows, we all know, that he's always coupled up with Nicolas Mahut.
Right.
And so I was like, what's going on there? And now we find out. Well, at least some part of it.
Well, so Herbert said that he was not planning to play doubles at Wimbledon this year, and that he told his partner Nicolas Mahut that he wasn't going to play. It's fine. They had talked about it before. Then Murray's coach Jamie Delgado contacted Pierre and asked him if he wanted to play, and he said, "Well, this is too big to pass up. I know I already said I'm not going to play, but this is the big four. Like I have to do it."
Can you hear Ben snoring in the background?
So Mahut's quote got out from L'Equipe, and I didn't see video of it, and so it's hard to read it. I can't tell if it's really snarky or if it's just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. What he said was, "I have zero desire to comment on this choice. He knows how I feel about it. I had a talk with him and I don't want to say anything else." So not having seen the actual interaction, that could be simply, yeah, I don't really want to talk about it.
It could be fine, it
Or-
could be no big deal, or it could be he's pissed.
Yeah. It is, I mean, I'm sure you understand, like, if Andy Murray asks you to play at a tournament that's really historic for him and it's a big comeback, like, it would be hard to say no. But maybe they didn't have a conversation before, maybe it came as a surprise to him and he felt a little betrayed. I don't know. I was just very surprised to see it.
If you want to be salacious about it, that's the way to read it.
That was a maybe. That was a conjecture.
Or you could be a little bit more conservative in your approach.
Perhaps. Not my style.
What's next in your up and down, non-linear
Back
agenda?
and forth. Some more whiplash here. So Serena Williams announced on Instagram this week that she will be the second black female tennis player on the Wheaties box. And I saw a few people who are not from the US ask on Twitter, like, is this a big deal? Like, what is the Wheaties box?
Say
And
that again. The first what?
The second
The second, yes.
black female tennis player.
Okay.
Althea Gibson was the first. I think in 2000, like around 20
Early
years ago.
2000s.
Yeah. And it is fairly shocking that Venus or Serena were
Or
never on
both.
it.
Or both
Right.
as Olympic champions.
Right. It's surprising that they weren't on it together, because in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were absolute superstars. I mean, they still are, but it was such a new thing, right? And they were Olympians, and
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there usually a strong tie between Olympism and the Wheaties box, like the Americans?
Yeah.
They love to put them on the Wheaties box after they win a bunch of medals.
Right.
It's like, I'm pretty sure I've seen Michael Phelps on it before with like 17 medals on his neck.
Yes, and you've seen Carrie Strug and probably Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of gymnasts, swimmers, like specifically Olympic sports, which I think may be the difference.
I think that's probably why you haven't seen them, because maybe tennis just doesn't get that much play as an Olympic sport around
Right.
that time. And if they are to give like one or two athletes that, what do you call it, spotlight at that time, then
It's
still shocking.
It is, yeah, it's weird. And I mean, it seems kind of silly to get mad over a Wheaties box.
Yeah.
And we're not mad about it. It's just like,
No, not mad at all.
yeah, it's just like one of those milestones that it's too late to celebrate. You know what I mean? Like when you're at the Oscars or whatever, it's like, oh, this is the first black woman who's won in this specific category. And you're like, really? Is it even? It feels kind of dirty to even celebrate it, because it's like, wow, what the hell took so long?
I don't know if it feels a little bit dirty
Well,
to celebrate it.
Maybe dirty is
I
not
mean,
the right
Serena's the one receiving it. She seems pretty
Yeah.
pumped about it.
word. Oh,
Like,
I mean, and I'm going to the store and buying up a bunch of boxes myself.
you're being what's the word? Hyperbolic?
Yeah.
Because you know damn well it won't be out in time for by the time you're here. Somebody's gonna have to snatch that up and ship it back.
I know. Speaking of firsts, Coco Gauff, 15 years old, became the youngest woman.
We were actually
youngest
speaking
girl.
of seconds before.
Oh. Well, now we're speaking of firsts. Corey/Coco Gauff qualified at Wimbledon, got through her 3 matches in straight sets, some of them pretty easy.
The last one, 6-1, 6-1,
Yeah.
Eller.
And she is now the youngest qualifier in Wimbledon history in the Open era.
Mm-hmm. And after she qualified, she went to her Instagram and was like, oh, sorry guys, I meant to post this yesterday. Shout out to all my queer brethren and sisters. Well, no,
Sister, yeah.
as in like followers or whatever.
Yes.
Which
It was very cute. She was
Yeah.
like crossing a street with a rainbow crosswalk and just doing a little twirl.
I mean,
Yeah.
the awareness at 15 years old.
I know.
Stunning. Tens across the board. But she best not try that with Miss Venus in the first round.
Oh my god. Like, how did this happen? I'm sure the tournament is really excited about the prospect of these two playing. This, of course, they love this changing of the guard narrative and everything.
I would hesitate to say that
maybe not this
the Wimbledon tournament would be ecstatic to put two black women on the short court.
Well, I didn't say they were going to be on show court. They might be on like an indoor practice court or something. I misspoke. A lot of people in tennis leadership will be very excited about the match.
And
Wimbledon
fans.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch it. I'll be mad if
course.
Venus loses,
Oh my god.
but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. Coco, I mean, this girl just like has a world of potential. She beat the French Open round of 16er, Alyona Bolsova, who was the number 1 seed in qualifying in her first match here. And she will play Venus Williams, who is 24 years older than her. See how fast I did that math in my head?
You're so
Yeah,
smart.
I know. Really, like, advanced math. I think... Venus has to come through that match in straight sets. If she doesn't, you're gonna be like, what are you doing? But I think getting a beatdown from Venus could be a very, very good experience for both.
Listen, let's not... You're putting all sorts of jinx in the air.
I know I'm saying, if it happens, it still could be a very good experience.
Okay, let's move on.
Did you know that Tommy Robredo, first of all, is 37 years old?
I knew that,
Like
yes.
Lopez, like Federer,
Correct.
like you. No, I'm just kidding. Has won.
I got told at work this week that somebody asked me how old I was, and I said, well, how old do you think I am? And I guess shame on me for asking, because that motherfucker told me 48. I got what I deserved.
You know damn well you never ask that. You never challenge someone to say, how old do you think I am? Actually, some girl did that to me, a girl you work with. And I was like, I don't know, like 30? She's like, I'm 21. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't have asked.
I mean,
like, wear sunscreen.
If the rule of thumb is that you always underestimate just to give somebody a boost.
I thought I was.
How old does he really think I look?
That's ridiculous.
Right now, if you were to answer that question, the only acceptable answer is in the 26 to 29 range. I'll still take that.
Right.
The skin is still looking good.
I think maybe this person just had bad social skills.
It's possible,
Yeah.
but they shall not be forgiven.
No. Anyway, Tommy Robredo has just won 2 challengers back-to-back, and he's currently in his 3rd. So that's pretty cool. I've always liked Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a big fan, and I'm just amazed he's still out there doing it. Gem's Life, they're back.
I will not be
They
baited
are
into
back.
this just yet.
Right.
I still don't know what the hell happened. I'm not about to get back on this wagon or pay them any mind.
Oh, I am baited.
Until
I am baited, switched.
they've been
I
around.
am hooked, line and sinker.
Why? You were so over them.
Because, I don't know, I'm into it again. I feel like they've made it through the rain. They can stand up once again.
Don't go there.
No, we still don't know what happened, right? They deleted their Instagram before Roland Garros.
Mm-hmm.
And Alina actually won a few matches, so maybe they should have stayed broken up for a while.
Messy.
But now they're back on Instagram. Gail released this video screaming, "They're back!" Like, what did Poltergeist?
I
Is
did
that
not
what that's
watch
from?
that. I don't know her.
It's just exciting. I'm happy for them.
Okay.
Moving
Next on the agenda.
The ATP,
As I see you flip the page like 2 or 3 times.
The ATP Players Council was supposed to meet today. I haven't seen any news about this on Twitter, which is surprising. Usually the British journalists are really quick to getting the news about the Players Council meeting. So we won't spend a lot of time on this because we don't know what happened. But this was meant to be the runoff election.
between like Wallace Simpson and was the other one?
Weller Evans, which is an upper class name if I've ever heard one, and Nicholas Levent.
Those are the two finalists. That's definitely going to be settled, correct, before the tournament?
You can never say definitely with the ATP
Because I can't
Council.
imagine that, unless they postpone it, but I can't imagine that there's going to be meetings taking place while the actual tournament's going on.
It's supposed to happen today, so they can just get it all done with.
So that'll be something that we'll talk about on the mid-Wimbledon show. Potentially, who is the person who will... What is it? What is that person doing? Replacing...
He would take Gimmelstoff's spot on the board of directors. So one of the three players' representatives on the board. Other things they're talking about, Vasek Pospisil is speaking to reporters about trying to get a bigger piece of the pie, like a bigger percentage of revenue in Grand Slam tournaments, allocated as prize money. The US Open does release their financial statements, but Wimbledon does not. It's very murky. We don't know what kind of revenue they bring in. We know the amount of cash they must have in reserves has to be crazy. But he wants to see more data with like legal representation for the players so they can negotiate and bargain on a more even keel.
Which is reasonable.
Right. Which is something you get if you unionize.
Because we know now that, 12 to 15% of the revenue from the US Open goes to players.
Right. And they've been... See, the thing is, the Players Council have been using team sports as a comparator, and some detractors are saying it's just not a good comparison. There are too many...
Comparator? I don't think I've ever heard that word before.
Oh, maybe that's like a stupid business word.
Oh.
I hear it at work, I think.
Okay.
It is a word now.
Got it.
But the comparison to baseball or football or basketball may not always work, but I think the spirit of the comparison makes sense.
One of the ways in which it doesn't necessarily work is, I imagine, and I don't expect that the USTA puts that much money back into its development, but I imagine that their need for developmental funds is more so than in basketball. Like infrastructure-wise. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, of course, because the NBA isn't paying for that stuff, right? They have the G League and all that, but like NCAA is... Big basketball programs are kind of self-funding because they make revenue. The players don't make anything. But these players are developed in AAU, in travel basketball, in high school, all that. Yeah.
What else?
We've got to talk about 37-year-old Feliciano Lopez. Came into Queen's Club number 113, and he was given a wild card.
Well, that's how far down he is? Or was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he was ranked 113. He hasn't really played that much, and he certainly hasn't been winning very much lately.
Well, I guess his ranking had also fallen down to the point where if he wasn't getting wild cards, he wasn't trying to qualify.
Right.
And
So
he won this tournament 2 years ago.
He did. He's the 2017 winner, which at the time was a big surprise because it seemed like he was nearing the twilight of his career, but he's been an excellent grass court player always. So not a huge surprise. But what he did this weekend is just crazy and deserves like some plaudits.
It's like he took the news of his potential match fixing at the start of the week and was like, I need to bury that so deep.
I'm going to win this prestigious title so you, A, forget about it, and B, so I get some money and points before y'all try to ban me.
And I'm going to win the doubles with Sir Andrew Barrett-Murray.
Talk about like building goodwill to the British people. The biggest story of the week might have been Andy Murray coming back, but Feliciano sort of snatched that spotlight a little bit. Because of rain and because of the scheduling mishaps, Feliciano had to play 3 matches on Saturday. So 2 doubles matches.
One was a completion
of
the doubles match.
So he played Felix Auger-Aliassime in a semifinal, losing the first set in a tiebreak, and then made rather quick work of the second and third sets. For I think it was a 6-3 and 6-4. It went pretty quickly, actually. Then he had to finish a doubles match, and then they played the doubles semifinal, all on Saturday.
Got it. He played 3 matches in one day.
And then on Sunday, obviously you know what He had to play the singles final, which was it was almost 3 hours long against Simon, won that, and then he and Andy beat Salisbury and Rom in the doubles final. This old man.
I mean, this is a surface to do it on. Not to take take stuff away from him, but he excels on it. He's got a good game for it. His slice serve, the lefty serve works well. His slicing works well on the grass.
Yeah. You're not going to do it on clay.
This is his bag.
Okay, so we have really sped through my points here.
Really?
Yeah. Basically, we've gone through all of it.
That's it?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We just had an episode.
What do you mean, like last week?
Yeah.
That entire agenda we've talked about.
Well, yeah. So now we're supposed to talk about the draw.
Oh, okay. Well, let's keep it a little bit more informal, because I can't look at the draw and see right now. I have a vague idea of what's going on. Let me ask you, James, who are some of the people heading into this tournament on the men's side, irrespective of the draw, that you'd be looking at?
Yeah.
On the men's side.
I'm looking at Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's got a top 20 seed now. He's number 19.
I'm talking about to go like super deep into the tournament.
That is tough because he would have, I think, a round of 16.
Without looking at the draw.
Oh.
Irrespective of the draw.
Irrespective of the draw.
Yeah.
Then
or the
I said
people
Felix.
A few days ago, like this person could go deep in this tournament. Do you think Felix can go deep in the tournament?
Oh, I'm not supposed to be looking at the draw.
Not at... Did you not understand the question?
Berrettini.
You should have seen the look he just shot me.
Like Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic? Is that allowed?
It is allowed, yeah.
I think somebody who has the potential to be upset early is Kevin Anderson. Despite being the runner-up here, is coming back from an injury, hasn't played in a while. Same goes for John Isner, who, as you all know, came dangerously close to being a runner-up at Wimbledon.
Ooh, Kevin Anderson did the business.
Right? He's doing the work for a lot of us out here. On sustainability, on Isner killing, on gay rights. Kevin Anderson is just out here.
Pet adoption.
Right. Sam Querrey.
You think he could
No,
go
I
deep?
don't think he's going to go deep, but he is still playing tennis. He's back, and he plays Dominic Thiem in the first round.
Okay.
That kind of sucks for Dominic.
So we're done with who we are looking at?
Yeah.
You didn't like that question?
No.
What about on the women's side?
On the women's side, I don't know. They're all in the first quarter, basically. Okay. Karolina Pliskova is in her fourth final of the year in Eastbourne against Herbert. Pliskova could make the final, definitely. Would not be surprised at all, because a lot of the really, really tough competition is not near her in the draw. Clearly, I'm looking at Serena, Herbert, Ashley Barty.
Sharapova?
No, definitely not her.
But this would be the 15-year anniversary of her great breakout win.
I am well aware when that happened, yes. I think how about early upsets?
You tell me. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Simona Halep.
You think she could go out early?
I think so, yeah.
Vince is moving around in the back seat. Are you going to sit down?
I think it's possible that Naomi Osaka goes out early. Not super, super early, but maybe before the quarterfinals.
You clearly do not want to interact with my question at all, so I will answer. And more in the vein of okay, we know that Donna Bekic is good on grass. She's been playing well. She's somebody who could, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Herbert has been playing well. I think it's easy to overlook her on grass despite her obvious prowess. For fuck's sake, she's a defending champion.
Right.
And
people still think she's not a natural here, though.
No, and it comes as a surprise to folks that she's doing well still on grass.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's just the Rob on Kerber period. People just always seem to be surprised that she can
Yeah.
do good things on a tennis court.
I think people basically think she's untalented. Like
Probably,
Silky Nutmeg Ganache, according to Evie Oddly.
Oh my god, that is a RuPaul's Drag Race reference. Who else on the women's side who's been playing well in grass?
Bencic,
Mm-hmm.
runner-up to Sophia Kenin. Kenin won Mallorca last week. Again, Bencic is in that quarter of death, so that's going to be really, really tough.
Your new world number one has been playing well in grass and has some of the best pedigree on the surface. And that is?
Well, Ashley Barty won Birmingham.
Because the
and-
last time we recorded, it was this could happen.
Right. It was like the day before
We
the final.
haven't actually announced her as new world number one on the body serve yet.
Oh, right. It was almost a foregone conclusion last week. But Ashley Barty did win the title. She did get those necessary points, beating Julia Gerges in the final of Birmingham. Had she fallen before, without winning the title, she would have been 2 points behind Osaka going into Wimbledon. But Barty, made that transition from Grand Slam winner, moving onto the grass 2 weeks later, winning a title. Like, you get the sense, 2019 Barty is kind of a different player.
She's got confidence in spades.
Right.
Like, you don't see her being frazzled on court, being too troubled on court. Like, everything is kind of, I don't want to say easy breezy because that kind of demeans what she does on court, but unbothered on the tennis court, which is wow.
Yeah. Well, since you mentioned the 15th anniversary of Sharapova's breakout,
Mm-hmm.
I should say Anisimova.
It's also the 15-year
Anisimova is a
anniversary
possibility.
of the guttural screams.
Which
right?
ones? Hers?
Yeah, isn't that when Maria heard Serena
Oh.
guttural screaming?
Sobs.
Sobbing, guttural sobs in the
Can you
Wimbledon
stop
locker
saying the
room.
word guttural? Like,
That's-
you said it
I'm-
like 4
I'm
times. It's
quoting
enough.
it. I'm quoting her.
That apocrypha? Is
What
that
do
you're
you
quoting?
have against that word? Is it the way I'm saying it?
It's the
or
way you pronounce it, I think, yeah.
How do you say guttural? The guttural sobs?
I guess the way that you pronounce guttural is
Because of
guttural
the
to me.
T's?
Yeah.
The guttural?
Just stop. Enough. Enough. As I was actually saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Anisimova, I don't want to make the comparison, but I just did. That sort of tall, big power player, slowly building up steam, could have a great Wimbledon. Just
Okay.
saying. She is also in kind of an unpredictable part of the draw. Petra Kvitova is in the draw. She is playing as of right now, but we don't really know what the injury situation
Has
is.
she said that for sure? Definitely she's going to play?
Well,
Because I saw something on
as
the
of right
internet
now,
yesterday
she's in the draw.
that, she's still hoping to play.
Right.
And so I guess it's still early enough for her to pull out.
I think
right?
there's still a lot of doubt surrounding it. Petra's first round opponent, Ons Jabeur, actually just pulled out of a match in Eastbourne. Yeah, against Herbert. So she may be injured. It may have been a preventative thing. But that little section, who knows?
So where's Anisimova in that?
She would have played Kvitova in the third round
Okay.
if they both get there. And then in the fourth, there's the possibility of Joanna Konta or Sloane Stephens. I would be really interested to see that. I'd like to see that matchup.
Miss Sloane Stephens just ran into the chainsaw,
The buzzsaw.
the buzzsaw, the truck, the roadkill that is Yelena Ostapenko when she's in full flight.
Oh my lord.
So you talk about this section of death.
Yeah.
There's always a section of death. What makes this one so much different?
This one, I know we can be prone to exaggeration.
Yeah, I
when
want
we're-
you to
when we're
push
looking at
through
draws.
The apocryphal nature of your declaration and actually prove it.
Oh, okay. Okay. The first quarter always has the top seed. That's Ashley Barty. But what we also have is the 3 previous winners of Wimbledon. Kerber, Muguruza, and Serena Williams. Then we have grass court specialists, Donna Vekic, who is a
bit of a
finalist,
disservice to her
Okay.
at this point.
but someone who excels a lot on the surface. Donna Vekic, a finalist in Nottingham. Yulia Gerges, who was the runner-up to Ash Barty 2 weeks ago in
Mhm.
Birmingham. We have
Sharapova, did you say that?
Sharapova,
Yeah.
who is a total question mark. Hasn't really played much after coming back from the injury. There's Pavlyuchenkova, there's Sam Stosur. It's really wild. Oh, and Belinda Bencic, who was, again, a grass court finalist.
Belinda Bencic.
Yes. I don't know that I have ever seen a Grand Slam quarter like this before.
But yeah, okay, so you say the 3 previous winners and then the number 1 seed. But the number 1 seed also happens to be the one who just won the French Open and then won her next tournament bout on this new surface, on the change of surface. And is number 1 for the first time.
Right.
I mean,
And
we've seen in the past where somebody in that kind of position, you're seated first for the first time at a big tournament. It may not be the best thing for you. You
Sure,
may become
sure, yeah.
overwhelmed, but it's also likely that Ash at this point in this iteration of her career is just ready to just blow the field away.
Right. Or just go out there and do her best.
Mhm.
You know. There are a few reasons. Part of it is bad luck that the draw shook out this way. Part of it is that the rankings are all over the place. It's weird. It's unusual to have a recent champion ranked all the way down to number 26, like Muguruza is. Serena Williams is seeded 11, which is not where people are used to seeing her in draws pre-Olympia.
But it makes sense that this could happen.
Of course.
Because
yeah.
of the depth of the WTA and also the injuries that folks have had to deal with.
Yeah, it was funny to me that even though, like, in addition to all these past champs, then you have all these very dangerous wildcards on this specific surface, like Gerges and Bekic. But there's that. This draw could collapse. I mean, Muguruza could lose in the first round. Bencic could come through to the semis from there. I have no idea. But it stuck out. It's so unusual to see that.
To you and everybody and their grandmother,
Yeah.
it stuck out.
Yeah. We talked a little about the second quarter. Kiki Bertens is the number 4 seed, still ranked number 4. There's Sloane, Konta, Anisimova, Petra, but if Petra does not play, that's a really big hole in the draw, and it's a huge opportunity for someone to get through, like Joanna Konta at her home turn.
To maybe get back to the semifinals, to where Venus beat her a couple of years ago.
Right, and inspired our podcast.
Yeah,
art.
that was the match.
The body serve heard around the world,
Seen.
or felt.
Yes.
It actually sort of messed up Konta's career for like a year.
The one body serve.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, that's what I think. Like I said before, Karolina Pliskova, the number 3 seed, has been successful on all surfaces so far this year. She's in the Eastbourne final. She might be a winner by the time you hear this, between her and Kerber. She's benefiting from, well, you know what? She's in the same quarter as Martic and Vondrousova again. So I wonder how those two will perform on grass as opposed to clay. Last time Karolina did not get through. She lost early at the French Open. Svitolina is also in that quarter. She's the number 8 seed. Svitolina could play Sakkari in the 3rd round.
Did you see Sakkari's double buns the other day?
Yes.
Her Mickey Mouse buns?
God. Yeah. That was so
And Donna
good.
Vekic commented on social media saying that has to be one of the greatest hairstyles ever on a
Yeah.
WTA court.
You mentioned Ostapenko running like a buzzsaw when she's ready. It does seem like things are starting to come together a little bit for her. And she plays Sue Xier in the first round, which is not great.
But it's a good time for things to come together because she's got points to defend.
Yes, they have to come together. So I'll be curious to see if Yelena just hits through Xier, because she can. But what a confounding player if you're not feeling your best that day, or you're not serving well. The 4th quarter is particularly interesting to me because it's led by Simona Halep and Naomi Osaka, and I think both players have some question marks.
Where's
surface.
Simona ranked here?
She's number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah, so the 2 seed and the 7 seed are here.
It's crazy. Those were just recently the top 2 players in the world, right?
Yeah. It still almost feels like Simona is the number 1.
He's the number 1.
And not because how she was playing, it just felt like she was there for a long time.
Okay.
Simona she's reliable on all surfaces now. Like, we're well past that, but grass is probably her least confident surface. I have no idea what to expect. I think someone like Victoria Azarenka could give her serious trouble or take her out if they meet in the 3rd round. She could potentially play Madison Keys or Venus Williams in round of 16 in a match that I would not really want to see.
So tell us about where Miss Venus is at.
Yeah.
Because we know that she's playing Coco Gauff in the 1st round.
Yes. So she'll play Gauff. Then she might have to play Arina Sabalenka in the 2nd round.
In the 2nd round?
Yeah, I actually read this wrong. I thought it was the 3rd. It's actually a 2nd round matchup if they both make it.
God, that's terrible.
Sabalenka has been struggling a little bit, but she could definitely come alive on grass. And Venus's or Sabalenka's 3rd round could be Madison Keys. As you know, Madison Keys can hit the absolute shit out of the ball.
And then the 4th round would be Simona Halep?
Yeah.
So what you're saying to me is that the draw gods did not heed everyone's prayers ahead of this tournament.
No. Whose prayer?
A lot of people were talking about it on Twitter, like, just please, for once, give Venus a decent draw.
Yeah. But, I mean, Venus is not seeded now, and this is going to happen.
Yes, but it's a bit much. I think.
It is a bit much. And if they make her do it all playing on court 18, it's going to be very upsetting. Caroline Wozniacki is down there on the other part of that quarter.
Did you know that Mrs. Wozniacki?
Mrs. Wozniacki-Lee?
I don't know what she's calling herself, but I'm just gonna say Mrs. Wozniacki.
But she's not married to someone named Wozniacki.
I understand that. I'm not gonna ascribe a man's name to her with not knowing. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, but
the Mrs.
Wimbledon
is
was.
just to signify that she's married. It was a little bit of a joke.
Oh,
You've just sucked the wind entirely out of it. Thank you. Did you know that she has never once advanced past the 4th round at Wimbledon in her career?
I think I did know that. Yeah.
I feel like it's something we say every Wimbledon.
So, but she has won titles on grass court. Last year, I think she won Eastbourne.
Yes.
Yeah, she won Eastbourne last year. She could face the other Caroline in the 3rd round, who is a much more natural grass court player.
Garcia?
Yep.
The other Caroline.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
I think, but Caroline Wozniacki is actually a Carolina, right? Officially.
Either way, you're wrong.
Anyway. Sophia Kenin could face Naomi Osaka in the 3rd round. Kenin could take out another huge hitting sort of American in Osaka. Took out Serena at the French
Sort
Open.
of American. Wow.
Well, Naomi plays for Japan, but she speaks with an American accent.
Okay,
She
let's
was
move past
raised
that.
much of her life here.
Okay.
She is able to identify in any which way she prefers, and whatever makes sense to her.
So I think we'll put a wrap on this woman's draw right here by not giving you predictions. We invite you to fill out your tennis Twitter racket bracket with us. We're gonna do that by tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna embarrass ourselves and fail at this bracket, but we're gonna put our real names there.
And tell us what you are interested in this draw, because we've been less instructive than we have in the past, given our current circumstances. So tell us the matches that you're looking for on the men's and the women's side, and we can maybe have a little chat about that. On to the men.
All right, so on the men's side, we mentioned that Rafa and Roger are on the same half, on the bottom half.
Who are your top 4 seeds?
Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and surprisingly, Kevin Anderson.
And to recap, the reason why the seedings don't reflect the rankings is
Kevin was a beneficiary of the seeding formula. He is the runner-up at last year's Wimbledon, which pushed him well above his ranking of, I think, number 7 right now. It's surprising to see him lead off a quarter because we haven't really seen him on a tennis court for a while. But his performance at Wimbledon over the past 2 years has been very great.
Very great.
Very great.
Your descriptors are very great.
But Kevin Anderson is definitely I have no idea what's going to happen with him. What kind of shape he's in, if he needs more practice, don't know. Novak Djokovic can't really complain about his draw. Has Lajovic in the third round. Could face Felix or Monfils in the fourth round.
Interesting.
Would you not love to see that Felix Gael third round match?
Yes.
I really hope that happens.
Yeah.
I
I'd
really
be up
do.
for that.
Felix is actually facing his countryman Vasek Pospisil in the first round.
In Pospisil's first tournament back in like 6 to 8 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Pospisil is a former winner here in doubles with Jack Sock. Has anyone heard from Jack Sock?
Do you remember
What is he doing?
when Pospisil or Sockspisil were actually a fun
They were actually
grouping?
a feel-good team.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't know that much about Jack.
And I mean, Vasek hasn't been like grade A either.
Well, I know, right?
Anyway,
Not unproblematic. Let's just say that.
I'm trying to drive here. I can't sift through what you're trying to get at.
Double negatives. I don't want to pass over the fact that Djokovic and Kohlschreiber will open against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Kohlschreiber is a very good player on the surface. I won't go over.
Not very great, just very good.
Very good. I mean, he's kind of old, so I don't really know what
So
to
he
expect.
just looked past me mocking you. You're okay with that?
That's hilarious.
He's good on the surface.
He is, yes. The other big-time seed in Novak's quarter is Stefanos Tsitsipas, who I think lives to take out top players these days. Has beaten Novak Djokovic before. Just looking at him, probably a natural on grass.
Can I just say that we're on the I-90? It's a shit highway.
It's horrible.
It's
Yes.
terrible.
We don't call it the I-90. We just call it I-90.
Okay.
In Canada, you put the in front of all the highways.
Okay. So we're on I-90, and it's a shit highway / throughway, or whichever way you want to call it.
It's terrible, and you have to pay to be on it. So, so enough about I-90. The other guys are on there: Medvedev, Goffin, who was the finalist in Halle, runner-up to Roger Federer.
Mm-hmm. Finally starting to play better. Good for him. It's been a
Yeah.
long barren
Yeah.
spell.
Kyle Edmund could face Tsitsipas in the third round.
Currently in the Eastbourne semis, I want to say.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which also, kind of out of the blue, good result for him. He's been struggling for a fair bit.
Right. In the second quarter, Kevin Anderson has a very tough first round coming back from injury against Herbert. Speak of the double. Herbert has been focusing more on singles recently. He's had some big successes. He wasn't planning on playing doubles here at all, in favor of singles. And Herbert, I believe, is a former Wimbledon doubles winner with Mahut.
Definitely French Open winner. We know that. They won the French together.
Oh, yeah.
So who is Herbert going to be playing?
Kevin Anderson.
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a lot of big serves in that one, too.
We've got Stan Wawrinka, who could face Milos Raonic, another former runner-up at Wimbledon. I feel like Milos just came out of nowhere recently. Like, he's been absent a lot with injury, and then he posted some really strong results, just kind of out of the blue.
Well, that's the thing is, it's hard to know when he is or isn't there. Like, I think we just gotten used to him not being there.
Right. But he set up a match with Felix in the first week of the grass season and had to pull out. But then he was back the following week, basically. So I don't know what his injury situation is. It's so unpredictable with him. But Stan and Milos could play in the third round. I think that Stan has a really good shot to go deep here. Anderson would be his fourth round.
Stan and Grass.
Well, I know Stan and Grass. It's true. It's not gonna be his best surface ever. I don't even know if he likes it that much, but the draw isn't really that bad.
Okay. We know on grass, anybody can be upset on any given day.
Yes. Karen Khachanov is the number 10 seed now. He could face Roberto Bautista Agut in the third round.
Who gave Federer a bit of a scare in Halle last week.
Yeah. I think that someone who has a real opportunity here is Alexander Zverev. Faces Yuri Vesely in the first round. He could play Benoit Paire, which is a tough out on grass, especially if Benoit is feeling himself like he was at the French Open.
Okay.
But after that, there's Khachanov in the fourth round possibly, and then Kevin Anderson if he makes it there, maybe Milos Raonic. Basically, Zverev has a really good opportunity to get to the semifinals here, which he has never done before.
We are constantly on Zverev watch as to when is it going to happen, So
yeah,
we're also at the point where when it does happen, it shouldn't be surprising because it's been overdue at this point,
yeah.
I think.
And I think at this point he's probably pissed that Stefanos Tsitsipas has sort of stolen his thunder.
I mean,
I feel that we're kind of speeding through this. I think it's because we're on the road.
We're not speeding through. We're doing fine.
Oh, okay.
You're just very self-conscious about it.
Okay, then we're moving to the bottom half. Dominic Thiem facing Sam Querrey in the first round. Sam, coming back from injury, hasn't played in a while, but of course is a former semi-finalist here, and he beat Novak Djokovic here in 2016, which really kicked off a big slump for Novak. He is formidable, and the huge serve is always going to hurt, even if he's not in that great a form.
Because no matter how much you want to say that the grass is not the grass of old, it's still grass.
It's still grass, yeah. It may not be as slick as it was, but it is still grass.
And it's gonna be tough to break serve against these guys on the surface.
Gilles Simon is also in this quarter. He was a runner-up to Feliciano Lopez at Queens last week and played really well. Played long matches all week, but played well in the final too. Fabio Fognini opens against TFO. Francis TFO. Big Foe.
Can you do that again?
No, did you? Diego Schwartzman did this Insta story a while ago. He said, Big Foe.
Oh my god.
That's an opportunity for Francis to get to the third round if he beats Fognini.
Okay.
Which is possible.
And so that's the second quarter you're talking about, or we're down to the third?
Now we're in the third quarter.
And this third quarter is headlined by Rafa, correct?
No, Dominic.
Yeah,
we're on the bottom half here.
No. Yeah, the third quarter is headlined by headline.
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't see him down here. A little third seed. I expected to see him
where else is he going to be?
At slot number 128.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so Rafa faces Sugita in the first round. He, you may have heard, didn't get the easiest draw in the world. We're not going to sit here and complain about draws because it's not interesting. Draws happen.
What will be interesting to some will be uninteresting to others, will be this potential second round match between Rafa and Kyrgios. Should Kyrgios be arsed enough to get there?
Kyrgios pulled out of the exhibition this week. He took a little fall on the grass, and I'm sure it was just a precaution.
But should Kyrgios find it within himself to muster 3 sets of tennis in the first round, you know he's going to bring every which way, mountain, creek, river, valley in his game to this Rafa match.
No, he's going to pull out all the stops. He does, that said, he has to play his countryman, Jordan Thompson, whom he has not played before in the first round. He's got to care enough to get through that. I think facing a Big Four player will be motivation enough for him, or it has in the past, but these past few months for Nick have been just wild. Totally bizarre behavior.
Yeah. You really do not know what's coming next.
Right.
And given the stuff that Nick said about Rafa in that NCR interview, and we know that there's a long-standing dislike between the two. Let's be frank. And there's the
Probably,
history
yeah.
also of Kyrgios beating Rafa at Wimbledon. Not only will Nick bring it, but you know Rafa will bring it to that match as well. Like he as much as he will never cop to having a score to settle, he will be out here trying to do that in that match.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that I beseech everybody on tennis Twitter to be on their best reasonable behavior throughout this ordeal that this match is going to be.
That is a
the
tall
preamble, the actuality of the match, and the postscript. It's going to be a trauma. So can we all just
behave ourselves?
Exactly.
I'll promise to try. If Rafa or Nick win that match, Shapovalov could be waiting in the third round, or Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, who is unseeded, who's going to face Bernard Tomic in the first round, which I think is a pretty interesting first round. Tomic has had success at this tournament before. And I wouldn't say he's a natural on any surface, because his game is so bizarre, sort of do it yourself.
Kind of all courty.
Yeah. Marin Cilic could be waiting in the fourth round, and then there's Dominic Thiem in the quarters. So altogether, not a very friendly draw for Rafa, but many things could happen along the way.
Yeah, and like one day of carnage can wipe out an entire section and clear the path for somebody, lest we forget that it happens every single tournament.
Who knows? The semifinalists from there could be Basilashvili, and I would support it. So last quarter for the men, we've got Roger Federer, and when Roger Federer is in a quarter on grass, is like, why even talk about the draw? He's probably going to be the semifinalist. He could face Pui in the third round. He's got either Coric or Schwartzman in the fourth. Coric did beat him in Halle last year for the title. So there's that history. Coric is good on grass. John Isner is coming back from injury. He's on the other part of that quarter.
Where would Federer and Isner potentially meet?
They could meet only in the quarterfinals.
Okay. And that, to be honest, that would be a huge achievement for Isner, coming back off injury.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's not shade at all. It's just he came back from a pretty serious injury that has laid him out for a while.
I'm also hesitant to call somebody's draw easy as well at this point.
Oh, fair enough.
Regardless of who was there, I think you'd still expect Federer to get to the semifinals.
Right. The other people floating around there, Kei Nishikori as the number 8 seed, they could meet in the quarterfinals.
The good thing for Kei is, unless he gets himself injured, 5-set matches won't really matter that much at Wimbledon for him, because the matches they're so quick.
Well, he can usually find a way to make them last.
You can play a 5-set, 2.5-hour match on grass.
Potentially.
So even his worst impulses may not get in the way of him going deep in this tournament.
Matteo Berrettini could be Isner's third round opponent, and he's another, at this point we can call him a dangerous floater.
Yeah.
Or even better, because he is the number 17 seed. He is a titleist in these past 3 weeks.
It
seemed like it happened
nowhere,
like overnight, right?
Because he's had a great spring into early summer.
Yes. And like I said, Italian men's tennis is in a really good place right now. And there's a lot of younger guys coming up too.
Do you like his nickname?
What is his nickname?
Berrettini.
Oh, is that like officially? Yeah, it's cute.
I've seen it all over the place.
It's very clever. He's cute too.
Yeah.
He seems like a charming guy. That actually brings us to the end of the draw.
It does?
Yeah. Did you want to pick a dark horse or something? Do we normally do that? Pick a champion?
I don't. I really don't.
Good, me neither. I'm so glad.
Again, we implore you as we drive over this noisy stretch of road.
Yeah. We are.
What are we on now?
We're on 390. If anyone knows Rochester, I don't expect you to. We are passing the airport right now. We're in Chilai.
Chilai.
We're on the border of Rochester and Chilai, which is spelled like chili the food.
Yeah, we're
not
in
the country.
We're in the part of the world where things aren't pronounced how they're spelled.
Yes.
such as Charlotte is pronounced Charlotte here,
Yes.
and Chile instead of Chile.
Yeah. It's home.
What's another one? There's another one that's really whack. You can't remember? Fill out your tennis Twitter bracket.
Enjoy these moments of respite before the tournament starts. Enjoy the first week of the tournament. We're going to check back with you next weekend, probably Friday, Saturday, or maybe middle Sunday. That's perfect, right? Schedule a middle Sunday tea with some,
Some crumpets. Crumpets.
Yeah. You're supposed to know this shit. You're from a Commonwealth country.
Whatever, man.
I'm not.
I'm focusing on the road
Okay.
as I drive by Chile Avenue.
Thanks for listening. You know, you can find us on Twitter at The Body Serve, on Instagram at The Body Serve. We haven't posted photos lately, so we'll get on that.
Yeah.
We are now on Spotify. You can find us also on iTunes. If you'd like to leave us a review on iTunes, we greatly appreciate that. And thanks for listening.
What's your name? You didn't tell people your name.
My name is James.
And
your
you
name?
are?
And I am...
Elliot JMR.
Oh.
On
I
Twitter.
thought you were going to ask me to
with
describe
2 L's, 2
myself.
T's.
Yeah.
And I am Jonathan.
That is Jonathan, and he's at tennis_John. Jon.
Correct.
No H.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening. Till next time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.